Hello and welcome. Today, I'd like to give you a brief overview of how you can use Algorithmia's machine learning operations platform to integrate with model training systems such as Amazon SageMaker to help you deploy, operate, govern, and secure your machine learning models in production. First, let's get a high-level overview to see where Algorithmia fits into the machine learning lifecycle. On the left side of this diagram, you'll see a number of different model training platforms, including Amazon SageMaker. These are platforms that your data science team is using to build and train machine learning models today. Once you've trained and saved your model, we can move to the middle of the diagram, and you're ready to deploy it to Algorithmia. Algorithmia is going to handle creating a REST API, registering it in a model catalog, and putting in place all of the infrastructure, security, and scalability to make sure that your model runs as expected in production. And on the right side of this diagram, you'll see consuming applications such as websites, mobile applications, or dashboards that are all calling your deployed models from your model catalog. In this first integration example, let's say that the data scientists are using SageMaker notebooks to build and train a model based on Python and scikit-learn. They can then save the trained model to Algorithmia's hosted data storage or use one of the data connectors in Algorithmia to connect to other external storage systems. Next, they can create an algorithm which will include a REST API endpoint that consuming applications can use to get predictions back from the deployed model. Now, let's walk through the process of building and training a model in a SageMaker notebook, then deploying that model to Algorithmia. I'll go to the SageMaker interface and click on the Notebook Instances tab on the left menu, and you'll see that I've started a notebook instance called Training, and I'll select the Open Jupyter Lab button. Once that opens up, you'll see the notebook where we will be training a scikit-learn model with a random forest classifier on diabetes risk data. I'll go through the first part of this process where we load in the data, split it into test and training sets, define the random forest model, and then actually train the model. Once we do that, we can see some accuracy metrics and generate some sample predictions for low risk and high risk patients. The most important part for us is at the bottom where we save the trained scikit-learn model and then upload the saved model to a hosted data collection in Algorithmia. Here we could also use the data connectors in Algorithmia to connect to other data sources if we needed to. Now I can go into Algorithmia and view the saved model in the hosted data collection. So I'll click on the Data Sources tab and then navigate to my organization, and I can see a data collection for diabetes risk, and there is my serialized and trained model that is ready to be loaded into an algorithm. So let's take a closer look at an algorithm that I've created that uses this trained model to serve predictions. If I navigate to the landing page, you can see all of the information about this particular algorithm. And if I view the source code, you can see where we load the trained scikit-learn model using the data API. Then we take the inputs and return a risk score for a patient. If we go back to the landing page for the algorithm, we can test this model by sending it some input parameters for a patient, and we get back a low risk score. Or I can use input parameters for a different patient, and we get back a high risk score. Behind the scenes, Algorithmia is handling all of the model serving, scaling, and runtime details whenever this model is called. Finally, at the bottom of the landing page, I can use any of these language clients to integrate my model into a consuming application, such as a website, mobile app, or dashboard. For the second integration example, there's a slight variation, and here the data scientists are using training jobs in SageMaker instead of notebooks to build and train their models. They then save those models to S3 storage, and in this case, Algorithmia provides data connectors to S3 and other external data storage systems. So once you've loaded your trained model, you can follow the same process that we showed in the first example to create an algorithm and integrate it into your consuming applications. The integration examples that we just discussed showed how data scientists can use SageMaker to build and train models, then deploy those models to Algorithmia, which handles the deployment, operation, governance, and security of models across your organization.